Jakie są światowe zalecenia, jeżeli chodzi o leczenie SM?
The principles are treat as early as possible after the diagnosis, monitor the patient's response to therapy, and adapt the therapy according to how the patient is doing on that. So, which means you have to continually reassess whether the therapy works, whether there are any adverse events, and take appropriate measures.
Proszę powiedzieć, jak SM skraca życie, jeżeli właśnie ta terapia nie zostanie wdrożona w odpowiednim czasie?
Well, we know from those large natural history studies that, for example, 50% or so of patients within 10 or 15 years of the diagnosis develop disabilities so severe that they require a wheelchair. If untreated, the quality of life of patients is severely impacted. Their occupational activities and abilities are impaired, so people get rid of their jobs. There are significant impacts on family life. There's a high rate of splitting marriages. So I think there are a whole lot of problems that occur if we do not treat the patients properly. And then with advanced disability, patients develop all kinds of secondary complications of immobilization, like thromboembolism, like pneumonia, like urosepsis, and these are also the medical conditions that they eventually die from.
Jak wygląda leczenie SM w Niemczech? Dlaczego tam jest taka terapia kompleksowa?
The management approach is multidisciplinary, so it's drugs that try to influence the underlying disease process. It's drugs that alleviate the symptoms of the disease. Then it's physiotherapy, it's ergotherapy, occupational counseling, psychological counseling. So there need to be a multi-professional team involved in the overall care of patients. And in Germany, some 70% of all MS patients are being treated with disease-modifying agents. There are now, fortunately, a large number. There's no field in neurology where clinical drug development has been so successful as in multiple sclerosis. And now the questions arise when to use drug X and when to use drug Y, and is there a sequence? Are there identifiable markers of prognosis that you need to take into account? Are there therapeutic response markers? How to monitor side effects? What is the activity in a given patient at a given time? That may change during the lifetime of a patient, so there may be periods of very high disease activity that require a different approach. But by and large, I think most of my colleagues in Germany tend now to be more proactive and use higher efficacy drugs earlier.
Co daje to, że właśnie w Niemczech jest taki szeroki wachlarz możliwości terapeutycznych, dostęp do wszystkich leków. Czy dzięki temu ta terapia, można powiedzieć, jest taka skrojona na miarę, taka personalizowana?
If you talk about personalized medicine or precision medicine, meaning that you individualize or tailor therapy to each patient, we try to do that, but we are in search for specific biomarkers that allow to identify certain subgroups, but this is only in the early stages of development. So it's mainly clinical and MRI features that we take into account when making the kind of differential decision about the use of the different drugs.